Hey guys, so here we are at Aether. We're about to go and interview George and talk about all things beer and fun stuff.
ABV is proudly sponsored by Convoy, Bintani, Craft Punks Canning and Rallings, Labels and Stickers.
All right, great. So we're about to get a tour of Aether. George, mate, how you doing?
Great, man. Very happy to have you guys out here.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by. Love to show everybody the brewery today.
Yeah, no, I'm super
Looking forward to
stoked. So yeah, cool. What do we got? Why are we outside here?
Well, figured I'd just kind of bring you guys through and show you the entire brewery as we will go through a brew day. So our day would start out here. We have a 20-ton silo that we just put in last year. And this thing has been quite possibly the greatest thing that we've ever added into this brewery. It makes life so much easier that you don't have to haul 25 kilo
Yeah, I reckon.
pail bags around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically all that we do is just load up a bin underneath. We got some load cells sitting on the bottom, so we can just weigh out to the exact kilo how much grain that we have. And then, yeah, pick it up with the forky and drive it on into the mill, add in whatever spec malts that we might be using on that brew day. Exactly, that just goes in on top of the bin, so everything's just kind of all sitting right there.
Yeah,
so
nice.
It takes an hour of milling and makes it about a 5-minute job.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, super easy.
So I know what some of this equipment does, and some of it is not at the start of the brew process.
So it's a little bit of a mishmash of kind of everything that we just have. It's been laid out mostly out of convenience of what can we fit in here and how can we fit as much as we can into here.
And patrons, you want patrons because they buy your beer?
Well, yeah, that too. So we're filming today with the tap room open. Normally what happens is we shut the we shut the production part of the brewery down on Thursdays, and we set the tap room up on Fridays. The tap room will be open. We'll have all of the tables out right next to the stainless and everything, so you can actually like smell the beer as it's fermenting.
You feel a part of it.
Exactly, it brings you that much closer to it. We're always about really kind of bringing people as close as we can get to the product. So day kind of pretty much starts just right here, 2-roller mill, nothing fancy to it. Basically, we take our green bin over there. We call her Jackie. Why? Because Jackie's written on the side of the bin. So we can just pick it up with the forklift, open up a chute in the bottom, drops out into the hopper, and you just walk away. It's milling in is that easy, and it's really that good. Gets augered up into our grist case, so that's just kind of a buffer tank. So we'll start milling in, and then we'll start getting all of our mash tuns set up. So up into the grist case, we get that about half full, so that can hold a ton at a time. And then from the grist case, we auger it up again, and that goes into our mash tun. Cool. So 3-vessel system. I'll take you guys up.
Mash, kettle, whirlpool, or?
Mash, lauter, kettle, whirlpool. Some of the nicest, chunkiest mash paddles you'll see in a brewery. Everything's totally motorized, mechanized. It's really convenient when you could just mash in where you have a grist hydrator, and then that's falling into your mash tun, and it's just mixing it really thoroughly during that entire time. I don't have to worry about dough balls, anything like that. We've also got an inline pH meter.
Nice.
Into our mash tun.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it just pokes into the bottom there right next to the temp probe. And that's going to tell us what our pH is as we're mashing in. We installed the kit back in 2018. So it's been around for a little while. We've kind of sorted out all the quirks. Everything's pretty smooth. It runs pretty well now.
Were there anything, like apart from that was added that's specific to this sort of site that you were like, shit, we need to roll it around, or there's different pipe work that was needed?
Little general things, like little bits of pipe work. I'm looking at kind of redoing a little bit of the pipe work up here right now, but that's a little pet project of mine. Just so that we can have a side vessel with all of our mash water in, and so I can have that pre-dosed for all of our salts, so that we might not have clumping of that down there. Putting antioxidant if we're going to do that into our mash, so having that ready on the side, ready to go. So looking at that. But pretty much what we're doing right now is just straight out of the HLT. We've got a PID system, so it just mixes hot water, cold water at the same time, so we're always hitting the same hydration temp. Pretty classic style lauter tun, nothing too fancy about it, but it gets the job done. Got some rakes in there just in case we might have a bit of channeling halfway through our sparge. So we'll recirc normally for about a half hour, of Vorloof for about a half hour. Once we've cleared up, We've got sight glasses underneath us to tell us when we're clear.
Yeah, cool.
Then we'll just start transferring off into kettle. We've also got a work grant down there that's going to help prevent any pressure buildups.
Yeah, cool.
And it's going to help us from overdrawing out of the bottom of the false bottom of the water. Kettle whirlpool, everything runs on steam. So once boil gets going, it can get going really nice. Takes no real time by the time that we're fully transferred in. Standard batch will be 35 hec.
Okay,
It's pushed into the kettle. About an hour long boil. Depends on the brew, obviously. We'll lose, anywhere from 2 to 3 hec in boil off. But just really vigorous, really nice. We have really good utilization for our alphas at that point. So you kind of got to watch your alphas and aim on the lower side. We can always add like a downstream bittering product if we're a little bit too low on IBUs, but you can definitely over extract out of our kettle if you're not careful about it. So,
because it's just so efficient on that roll.
It's just so violent.
Yeah.
Once boil's done, you just get a nice whirlpool started there. You got the little side port down there, tangential port, just to push our wort in. We can get a whirlpool spinning up in about 10 minutes. Whatever might go into that whirlpool, we do a lot of flame out hops, or a lot of whirlpool hops. We do some dip pooling, so bring that wort down to 80, 85C, depending on the need. Everything goes in. We tend to just kill the whirlpool right after we pull a vortex. I'm not the biggest believer in hot side oxidation or hot side aeration, but people believe in it, so I'm not going to completely discount it. We'll kill our whirlpool just before that vortex forms. Hops go in, give it a bit of a spray on the top with some hot water just to really force any air pockets in those pellets just down and out. 20-minute holds, and then we start knocking out.
Yeah, nice.
So I'll bring you downstairs.
Before you go, look, is this...
We've got 2 HMIs basically. They're both plugged into the same PLC.
Because the other one's down there in the cabinet, right?
So this is a little bit more
for a second, I didn't even see that, and I thought, fuck, man, they're backing down. What a pain in the ass.
It makes things really convenient. When you're on the brew deck and you're just having a bit of a long day, and the last thing you want to do is another flight of stairs, having this guy here can be really convenient. I would say we don't use it all too often, just because a lot of the valve work is just down underneath us. But it's really, really convenient to have it up here when you do need it. So we got brew house control, fermentation, so I can see where all of our tanks are sitting at. I can see where our ice liquor tank is at, our glycol tank. And we do have a little bit of a yeast screen down here. It's a little bit of a pet project getting the yeast props going. A lot of lab work is involved with proper yeast propagation. So that's why we're still building out on that side. But we're looking at getting that done probably in the next 3 to 4 months.
Great.
Yeast is a big expense for breweries.
I was going to say, that's a money saver, right? If you can wrangle that. If you can get 2 generations out, but you should be, ideally aiming for 5 or 6. But
exactly. But you got to be so just perfect with it. Otherwise, that consistency isn't going to be the same every single batch. And it can be a real challenge sometimes. Yeah, for sure. All right, so I'll bring you guys downstairs. So a lot of our flow and a lot of our control is done down here. This is basically, it's our valve matrix, it's our flow panel. This is where, we're controlling whether or not we're recirculating in our water ton, if we're transferring into our kettle, if we're whirlpooling, if we're knocking out, anything like that. Pretty much gets done through here. So once that whirlpool is done, brew's basically done. We've got a very beautiful giant heat exchanger sitting over there. We can go from 99C to 10 degrees C almost instantly in that guy.
Chilling sample?
Yes. So whenever we're taking our first runnings, last runnings, pre-boil, post-boil, anything like that, what we'll normally do is this valve here will just open and close as we need, comes through this faucet here. Grab it in this guy, into there, turn it on, chilling's done.
Chill it down. Yeah, nice. How many tanks have you got?
So actually it's a 6,000 liter hot liquor tank. It's a 4,000 liter cold liquor tank. Our 2 yeast props here are 500 liters. And as for fermentation capacity will run to anywhere over there, which I'll take you around there.
Yeah.
So that's fermenter alley, and then we have our kind of fermenters on this side as well. We have 6 30, call them 40 hect fermenters, only because I really like to jam it full. Efficiency, man.
Mate, that's money, right?
Exactly.
Same labour.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've got it in there. So.
Same everything, but I can get 10 more heck out of it.
100%.
You're kidding me, of course. I'm gonna do that.
That's it.
And then on this side, we have 7 70 hect tanks.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so we
wow.
can fit a fair bit of beer in here at any one point in time. Here's the other side of Fermenter Alley. This is pretty much where all of the cellaring work gets done.
Yep.
So 1, 2, 3 fit 39 hec. These two actually fit 32 hec. And this oddly shaped beast, here before my time, but the story that was told to me was that another brewery, whose name escapes me right now, they bought it. They had no physical way of actually fitting it into their brewery. They put it up on the Pro Brewer Marketplace, and we snatched it up. And so we have one randomly sized tank that's not like the other ones. And 70 hect tanks behind us. So pretty much at any one time, the 2 tanks in front of us are dedicated ginger beer tanks.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Churn over a lot of ginger beer.
Yeah.
So I put that one down yesterday. This one's crashed for about a week now, and we're sending that across next Thursday.
Yeah, okay.
That'll go to Bright.
Yep.
2 tanks on the far side there. There are Mexican lager tanks.
Yep.
Pretty much dedicated, always full of those
Yep.
2. And then that leaves us 3 other 60 hect tanks to take care of things like XPA, Oz Pale. Every so often I'll do a West Coast IPA into a 60 hec. I try not to, just keep that as fresh as possible. So pretty much once our tanks are crashed, flexi line going into our centrifuge. So it's a Brew 80 from Alpha Laval.
Yep.
We put that in back in March of 21. So prior to, we were just uni-tanking, ferment, crash, package after like 3 weeks of sitting and clarifying. Now we can turn a tank over in 48 hours after crashing it. A little bit of biofine, just really bring everything down to the bottom of that tank and just send it straight across. And it's pretty flawless when it wants to work. We've had a few troubleshooting issues off of it, but overall, I'd recommend, like, if you're ever a brewery that's thinking about getting a centrifuge, just do it.
It's that consistency. You can set it where you need it, and off you go.
Exactly. It's been the little growing pains here and there. Learning how much processed water you need to actually fill and flow into it. But once you get over that, it's great. Yeah,
nice. And a small pilot kit?
Yes. So 1 hec pilot kit. That's for anything and everything good. If we're looking to tweak core range, if we're looking to bring something in new to the brewery, I get a lot of sales reps coming by that all want to sell me different things. And I might think, oh, this is great. I want to put this in our core range, but
I want to know what it does.
I want to know what it does first. I can't just go and make 3,000 liters of a beer that people have been buying for 3 or 4 years and
change it.
What if something's different? So that's what we're doing there. Anytime any of the brewers have anything special in mind, we'll just try it out on the system. Sometimes it'll just be a good one-off to do. Other times it'll even graduate up to being a full-scale limited release that we do.
They tend to be a keg only that come out of there?
Only keg.
Yeah, nice.
Cool. So from the centrifuge, we've punched a hole in the wall, and we got a pipe running across. So I'll bring you guys over to the packing house. Whole different building. Anyway, so from the centrifuge, these are the pipes that come through the wall. Just run along above our heads here. We have 2 30 hec bright tanks, 60 hec in the middle. How do we have 6 30 hec tanks for 2 bright tanks, and 7 60 hec tanks for 1 60 hec bright tank? It's a challenge. But no, it honestly, we don't really ever have any problems, only because we can carbonate and package it so quickly that it's never really that much of an issue. Packaging starts at our decal. We just run Aurora cans, nothing too fancy, blank cans. Come through down our twist rinser. On the far side there, we have our shrink sleeve applicator. Right in the middle here, let me show you. Right in the middle here, we've got our steam tunnel. So that's going to shrink our sleeves on each can individually. So basically it comes in big rolls and it just cuts each individual can as it's going through. Comes through on this side, fully shrunk up. So like this guy here, he's just the last casualty of the last canning run. So it's West Coast. Shrinking changes depending on the day, depending on the humidity. So it can either be really smooth some days or be a hair puller other days.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
into really smooth when it's more humid or less?
Less humid is better.
Yeah, okay.
Significantly. Because they like to catch on the cans when they're a little bit too moist, basically.
Yep.
We've got a Can Pro 6000 from Splat Engineering down in Melbourne.
Yep.
A couple other breweries running this kit. Fantastic. Love this canning line.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yep.
Counter pressure, 9 heads, 100 cans a minute, 6,000 cans an hour.
I guess that's pretty quick.
Oh yeah. When it's running, it's pumping through some cans.
Yeah.
This is the most comically oversized drying cabinet you will ever see in your entire life. They just gave it to us. So who am I?
Really?
Who am I to say no?
Mate, Joel would love that. It looks like Octopussy. He's
so
a
we've
big
got
James
two
Bond fan.
giant industrial chillers in the industrial blowers in the bottom.
Yeah.
And those cans come out.
Mate, if you can't get an angle with that thing to dry a can, you're not trying hard enough.
Exactly. You're not trying at all. Down some conveyors and basically just over to the 4-pack applicator and the automated boxer. So that's coming out of Fiber King. It's the little packer.
Yep.
Again, another couple breweries in the area have them. Works great.
Yeah, nice.
Sometimes, when we change over box lots, so, on the next packet or on the next manufacturing run of our boxes.
Yep.
Tiny little differences.
Yeah.
So you might have to change a couple settings and you might have a couple bad canning runs coming out of the little packer, but once you get that dialed in, it works out pretty well.
You guys use like a base carton wrap?
Base carton,
and different sticker for
different
each bread?
sticker on top.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Yep. It just keeps things efficient, easy. We don't have to use too much storage space for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it all works out pretty well. That's our little corner of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, are you keen to sit down and have a chat more about you and
Sure.
what beer you do?
Why not?
Mate, thank you so much for the tour around. That was excellent and amazing. Bigger than I expected. I didn't expect the canning room and that to be as big as it was.
Yep.
Then let's talk about you. So I hear a little bit of an accent. What's your story?
I mean, you could say I've had a bit of a beer voyage myself. So I'm Canadian. Despite that, I've never actually worked in commercial beer in Canada.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, I had finished my undergrad at uni. Just had a job working in a lab, nothing too crazy. I did pharmaceutical science.
Yep.
I was thinking to go into pharmacy, but the fastest way to not work in pharmacy is to actually work in a pharmacy.
Yeah, right.
Just not for me. I could tell right away. So I had just finished uni. It was my birthday, and my roommate at the time, best friend, shout out to Ethan, he bought me a homebrewing kit. Turns out it was actually a Cooper's kit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, middle of Ottawa, back home, the other side of the world, and Cooper's is selling the homebrew kits.
Yep.
Go figure.
They're all over the world.
Yeah. So,
started many a brewer's career.
Yeah, I think he mostly bought it for me because, we were both broke and just finished uni and we just couldn't afford any other beer, so it was make us some beer.
Yeah.
So I got into
You're
that.
the chemist?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That was the case. There's god-awful stuff that I was making at the time, but it kind of really scratched an itch in the back of my head of it's kind of combining that science in with, doing something with your hands, which I really love. And you also get to have
at the end, if you're good, you get beer.
You get to enjoy what you're doing. Exactly. If you're off making pharmaceuticals every day, I hope you're not taking it home with you. So from there, I kind of thought to myself, well, all right, I want to go and professionally brew. I couldn't really get any jobs in Ottawa for, having my background. Some people were just telling me, oh, you're overqualified, I can't afford you. And I was just sitting there thinking to myself, like, no.
I'll take a job.
Yes, pay me minimum, I don't care. And it was just kind of like a thing of like, yeah, you're definitely going to leave. You have a BSc, you're definitely going to leave. So, naturally, having been rejected from the beer jobs that I applied for, I thought to myself, okay, I'll go back to school for beer. Because if at first you don't succeed, you just get more education.
Keep these chemical diplomas off my resume.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly it. So, out on a flyer, I applied to a Masters of Food Science program at the University of Copenhagen in Denmark. They were also running a adjunct beer course through that, through a place called the Scandinavian School of Brewing, or the SSB. Think of the SSB as the IBD, but for the Nordic countries.
Okay,
So the program was fully in English. I had been to Europe once in my entire life, and it was in London for 24 hours.
Yeah, right.
That's it. I applied to this program on a complete flyer, didn't really think anything of it. It was free to apply. I got in. Holy crap, I got in. Didn't think that was going to happen, but yeah, that was great. So pretty much looked at my wife at the time. I guess we're moving to Europe, babe. Let's go. She's Canadian as well, but she was in a roundabout way a German citizen, so it all kind of worked out there. She came over with me. I did my brewing education in Denmark. Halfway through that, I started working for a microbrewery that Carlsberg was running.
Yep.
It was basically one of my buddies got offered the head brewer job role there, and he just hired everybody else from brewing school at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was working there for about a year and a half, finished up my school there, or finished up, master's program there. Got a job at Carlsberg.
Yep.
So went from their microbrewery, just like an operation much, much smaller than this. It was effectively just financed by Carlsberg, but entirely independently run.
Yeah.
Went to work on for group research at Carlsberg after that. Yep. So I was growing hops hydroponically in a basement.
Yeah, right.
The amount of times that I got blocked by the company censor for going on marijuana websites saying, no guys, I swear, this is for research purposes.
I'm trying to get tannins.
Yep, exactly.
I need lupulin.
So then I would take those hops. It was all part of a very, very early stage breeding program. So the thought was, can we turn a hop root around in can we do 3 to 4 generations in a single year rather than 1 generation per year, basically.
Yep.
So I was doing a fair bit of that, and also just taking those hop cones, putting them into some pilot brews, just some general sensory stuff off of that, nothing too crazy. During my time at that job, my partner got a position at UQ, so never been to Australia before, packed up our bags, and we both flew down here. Had a couple phone calls around, had a really good chat with Dave, my boss, owner of Aether, and 5 days after landing, found myself here. Yeah.
When you're not at Aether, what brewery are you at, or what are you drinking? Who's floating your boat?
That's a great question. I used to live in the Valley.
I just thought of it.
I used to live in the Valley.
Think of that before.
I was at Soapbox a lot. Back in the days when they had Pep Talk on, or just having the rant. I was at Soapbox a fair bit, but also living in the Valley. The view at Felons is impossible to beat, and the beers are just fantastic too.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's your ranges, of course. But when you get Newstead, well, it was Newstead at the time. It's since become working title since I've moved away. Doing kind of that little walk around in the Valley used to just be the jam. Yeah. So kind of that inner city CBD Newstead in the Valley kind of area. That was the real jam to it all. Now that I live in the area, Fick's just across the train tracks. Love those guys.
I can't wait to go and interview Fick. I haven't even spoken to them yet or had the opportunity to say, hey, I do. I love their quad.
Yes.
It's freaking one of the best I reckon I've ever had.
You gotta
it's
have the red
so
IPA.
good. Yeah,
the red
okay.
IPA is
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Man, they're doing amazing stuff over there. So definitely hit them up.
Mate, thank you so much for today. The beers, the walk around, it's been fantastic.
Oh, thank you, man.
Mate,
Appreciate it.
Mate, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cheers, man.